number 3 story, we now have the Fox News explanation for why Jesse Jackson's disparaging whisper about Barack Obama, caught on a Fox and Friends hot mic, took 72 hours to see the light of day. They didn't know it happened until a producer screening the tape the next day heard the whispers and sent a transcript to the O'Reilly Factor. Then, after an internal discussion, Fox News made a Fox Business decision. They would air the tape, and Mr. O'Reilly would do it live.
See, Barack been talking down to black people on this faith base. Barack talking down to black people.
Mr. O'Reilly aired that portion of the tape and then took the following oath.
Talking Points is not going to speculate about his motivation or describe his comments in any pejorative way. You heard them, you can decide.
That promise lasted a few minutes until Mr. O'Reilly couldn't help himself, and he speculated about Jackson's motivation and described his comments in a pejorative way.
But I think there might be a more malevolent motivation here, Clarence. I mean, I think there might be a tinge of jealousy.
Later, Mr. O'Reilly announced there were other more damaging remarks made by Jackson, but he wasn't going to air them.
Well, wait, Warren. I just want to make this very clear. We're not out to get Jesse Jackson. We're not out to embarrass him, and we're not out to make him look bad. If we were, we would have used what we have, which is more damaging than what you heard.
Big Brother Bill decided not to report, but he still wants us to decide that we would really think much more poorly of Reverend Jackson if only Mr. O'Reilly had seen fit to allow us to hear the really bad stuff. Tonight, O'Reilly said the other material is trash talk and doesn't deal with public policy, so there's no need to air it. An executive at Fox News tells the LA Times in an article running tomorrow that news executives were in discussions about whether to air more of the tape. Now, setting aside any collateral damage this may cause Barack Obama, it is worth noting that despite his claims to the contrary, Mr. O'Reilly has been out to get and embarrass Jesse Jackson before. Notably in one of those ambush interviews when a Factor stalker producer tried to surprise Reverend Jackson with an in-your-face interview about Jeremiah Wright in the wake of the Reverend Wright controversy. That may have been repayment for Jackson holding O'Reilly's feet to the fire after O'Reilly made ridiculous comments about dining in a Harlem restaurant in September of last year. To refresh your memory, O'Reilly said about his dining experience in an African-American owned establishment, quote, "There wasn't one person in Sylvia's who was screaming, 'MFer, I want more iced tea.'" Jesse Jackson visited O'Reilly in September of last year to find out what exactly that meant.
What concerns me is that fear and ignorance, lead to hatred and that leads to violence.
Absolutely.
And so to underestimate the civility of blacks was insulting to many people.
Who underestimated the civility of blacks?
That's how it came off.
No, I did.
Joining us now for an official on-the-record interview is Greg Mitchell, editor of Editor and Publisher magazine and author of the book So Wrong for So Long. Greg, thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
I think I know the answer to this, but is it strange that Mr. O'Reilly gets to decide what information is released to the public and what information is not? I mean, Fox News has this material, but it is Mr. O'Reilly individually, apparently, who gets to decide what we get to know and what we don't.
It wasn't even his show. I wonder what Roger Ailes knows about this. But yeah, it was strange that it would take that long, and it would only go on O'Reilly. They were able to tease it. They were able to draw it out. And, as you mentioned, they even had teased it out for tonight, and there was absolutely nothing released tonight. So it adds to the sense that they're out to not provide the context for the remarks, that they're out to make Jackson look as bad as possible. And on tonight's show, O'Reilly, I think 6 times, accused Jackson of playing the victimization card.
When O'Reilly said there was more from Reverend Jackson that was worse, but he wasn't going to play. Isn't that an incredible way to smear somebody, to say, I'm going to let you hear something that is going to make this person look bad. Trust me, you can just let your imagination run wild.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you what else is out there, but trust me, it's way worse. I mean, that's using everybody's own imagination to smear Reverend Jackson.
Well, again, that's another problem with it. And I think probably Fox has been a little bit divided about this whole thing from the beginning. I think they know that, again, tonight's show, Laura Ingraham and other people were on there saying that they think this is a net plus for Obama. And I could just see the debate in Fox headquarters, like, well, we want to hit Jackson, but what if it helps Obama? Well, we really want to hit Jackson, but it might help Obama. So maybe that would explain why they drew it out this long.
And then there's that whole awkward consideration of what's actually news,
Right.
which you'd hope they would be debating. Because they have referenced that there is more of this tape, that they have more footage, they have more clips that they could air. Journalistically speaking, wouldn't it be right when you reference that there is more, that they should play more so then people can decide for themselves?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, within this, there is an interesting debate. I mean, beyond the crude language that Jackson used is the point that he's raising with Obama and how he's interacting with the black community and the black community's response to him. And that's a debate that's going to go on probably after tonight. That will switch over to that. But minus the context, O'Reilly said tonight on his show that he still didn't understand it. He didn't think the viewers understood the context for Jackson's remark. Well, why was that? Because they didn't air the context.
Right.
So Bill, play the tape. You know.
And well, it should also be said that if we're going to talk about the relevant context for understanding what happened here, I feel like it is relevant context to understand that Bill O'Reilly has gone after Jesse Jackson a lot before, to the point of having one of his producers ambush him, and has gone after him in ways that I think make more sense of this whole exercise than anything that we could speculate about the political impact for Barack Obama.
Yeah. Well, again, I think this was aimed at pushing Jackson aside maybe for good. And again, O'Reilly tonight said that again and again. He's over. He's done. It's the end for him. But I really think there is a tug of war there, that they really are afraid that this is going to help Obama by appearing more centrist, more moderate for the many people who, especially in Fox's audience, that have a problem with Jackson.
Does this play into the debate about whether or not Democrats or liberals have something to fear from Fox News, that Fox News is a place where this sort of gotcha stuff will be used for political purposes?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think this is a reason why candidates are reluctant to go on there. O'Reilly again tonight said again he wants Obama on. He's anxious to do that and talk to him about this. So,
not a good way to get that done.
I think there probably are a few candidates out there who may want to reach Fox's audience, and they may find that it's worth doing. But I would hope that most of the leading candidates would err on the side of safety.
Greg Mitchell, from editor and publisher, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.